Thank you for inviting me for the post-COVID world order. First, we have not reached that post-COVID stage yet. The U.S. still has not ended its war on the COVID. And India is still working hard on its own challenge. And with the new variant of the COVID, the world is being threatened. So Chinese story said that now when for the infection by the new variant, it only takes 14 seconds to transmit the disease. People don't need to contact each other. If a person who has been infected to enter a building, he can leave a deadly poison for 4 days. Second, people entering the building within the 4 days, an entire building is infected. And given this, in my view, it's far from the stage of the post-COVID. We may still need to spend another 18 months to claim a win over COVID. This is my first point. We have a long distance toward the end of this battle. Second, we can imagine what would happen for the post-COVID public health world order. One, the US is proposing to build a capacity for the Earth planet to build quickly within 30 days, 30, to develop a vaccine to deal with a disease like COVID. Now it takes 300 days. So in the post-COVID time, we should have a time reduction by 90%, only 1 month. China can do, India can do, and the US, UK, we all can do. This is a dream world order. It cannot be attained quickly, but I do think it would be in the interest of the mankind to develop such a post-COVID public health world order. And then the post-COVID world order would be more healthy, robust, and resilient. That's great. Second, the US has proposed to negotiate for a world convention to share publicly the data of the patients who would be infected by a future COVID, a future pandemic. If China would not submit its record of those patients to WHO, which is happening now, USA, let's negotiate. I think no country would have a reason not to share its such data. So probably China would join a future negotiation toward a post-COVID public health regime. And that would be great. The cost, the lesson would not be wasted from this time experience. So mankind would grow more competently. For this, India, China, US, etc. share a common objective. So largely, I expect the world would become more competent in the public health area. If we would meet those above-mentioned two objectives of American government, the Biden administration. But then what else? the post-COVID world political order, economic order, and world security order. I think we may have two deeply divided and mutually alternative order. One is China-US work together in the future to beat successfully another pandemic like Ebola. And this time, China-US have lots of difference, but they could overcome their difference by respectively generate future vaccine each by 1 month and offer this to the other country who needed it. And they would share the medical record and help the entire world. And they would reduce, if not remove, mutual suspicion. And China would become more humble and to smile, as Xi Jinping recently suggested, for China's grandeur public diplomacy and propaganda. China should build a great image that is trustful, adorable, and respectful. 可信, 可亲, 可敬. China should have humility, humbleness, and change. Great. This is all Premier Zhou Enlai have worked very hard to make China to be look like. And Jiang Zemin has worked around this line, Hu Jintao especially. But later on, war warrior, Chinese diplomats, they shouted, they beat America, they beat UK. They are very eloquent in using the language that classic diplomats tend not to use. And they are promoted if you use it. But now Xi Jinping said, let's be humble. Let's make our diplomacy effective. If China would, Xi Jinping would truly mean what he said, it's not impossible China can improve its image for diplomacy and for public diplomacy. Look, China has not continuously to show its documentary, China Awesome. So, 厉害了我的国. This documentary is no longer available on China's big screen. China does not want to tell others, we are awesome, you should be scared. We used to think we are great, we should have our confidence. But the more Chinese tend to build our confidence, the more other countries may tend to have less confidence. So Xi Jinping is more careful not to undercut others' confidence. So he must have ordered not to continue to show this movie. And we have a state policy for funding our strategic innovation. China has a plan which is called Make in China 2025 to spend 10 years from 2015 to 2025, spending $300 billion of US dollars on Chinese key SOE to make them excellent. And we are no longer saying we are doing it. But what I understand, we are still doing it, but we are not saying we don't want to make China to feel overconfident, to make other countries to feel less confident. And in the early stage of last year, Chinese government announced we're going to produce a book to say how our government is capable. The book's name is Great Country Beating COVID. That book was never printed because of domestic controversies. So this is China, which is very controversial, increasingly less respected by people in America. Only 9% of America, according to Gallup poll, likes China, and 91% of America don't like China. This is the worst record in 49 years since Nixon's visit to China in 1972. China understood the reason behind it, so we try to fix. If we truly implement what Xi Jinping said in our future diplomacy, in our future handling of our relationship with other countries, I think the first possibility of the post-COVID world order would be an improved one. China-US trust is not repaired but improved. China-India relationship improved, so the border dispute is not gone. And China-Malaysia, China-Philippines, China-Indonesia, China-Vietnamese dispute over China's presence in South China Sea may be less intense. Therefore, the NATO, the new transatlantic charter may have less need to send NATO's warship to South China Sea. The other alternative post-COVID world order could be the following. And the US keeps demanding to inspect China's Institute of Virology Studies in Wuhan. And the US has mobilized other countries to demand this. And WHO would keep demanding. And China would say, no. You may inspect in a future outbreak of a pandemic, but not this one. This kind of approach would not serve China's interest in making itself trusted, respected, and loved. And then China may have a time-bound dream, so-called Chinese dream, to reintegrate Taiwan with whatever means at our hand, and probably in 10 years. Therefore, China-US relationship would become more intense. And many countries would be worried, what if China would, after China integrate Taiwan, whether the international water passage of Taiwan, China, the Taiwan Strait would still be open. It would look like South China Sea. This would be maybe part of East China Sea. So China would police, China would tell you to do this, no, not to do that. China may not treat it as international place. So some other country would have a deepened suspicion. And they would allow America, especially the Biden administration, to respect American allies' concern and to lead them, to offer more resource and public goods for Quad, for US-based all bilateral military allies, and for NATO, and for transatlantic economic and investment relationship. I cannot exclude this kind of more deteriorating kind of world order. The world order would become more unstable and more down spiraling and more unpredictable, unlike what Mr. Putin and Mr. Biden have met in Geneva to stabilize their relationship.
Professor Dingley, you have
1 minute.
Sure.
1 minute.
Sure.
So the second possibility of the world order may be more instability, more unpredictability. I think both exist. I aspire to work with all of you and with my American friends in America, in China, Indian friends in China and in India, to work together to avoid the bad possibility and to try to grab a good possibility. Thank you very much.